Well, this is good, even though it's a sad subject. Welcome back to Horrible. Actor and comedian Seth Rogen sits right here. He kept us laughing in movies like Knocked Up, Superbad, Pineapple Express, The Green Hornet, The Guilt Trip. That's with Barbara Streisand. That one, come here. That wasn't Barbara Streisand right there. Come to Capitol Hill today. He's there talking serious business. There, he watched you testify today about the toll that Alzheimer's has taken on American families. And he's, by the way, an advocate and spokesman for the National Alzheimer's Association, and showed his talent for comic relief to show U.S. senators today how a deadly disease has touched him personally. Here's a bit of Seth in the real world.
Thank you for the opportunity to testify today, and for the opportunity for me to be called an expert at something, because that's cool. I don't know if you know who I am at all. You told me you never saw Knocked Up, Chairman, so...
I want the record to note this is the first time, I will wager this is the first time in any congressional hearing in history that the words knocked up was ever...
Oy, you're not going to like the rest of this, then. After forgetting who she and her loved ones were, my mother-in-law, a teacher for 35 years, then forgot how to speak, feed herself, dress herself, and go to the bathroom herself, all by the age of 60. That's right. The situation is so dire that it caused me, a lazy, self-involved, generally self-medicated man-child, to start an entire charity organization.
Well, your brother-in-law was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, what, at the age of what?
54, I believe.
And when did she lose awareness of who everybody was, including your family?
A few years after that, I'd say by the time she was around 60, which was around when I was getting married to my wife. We actually often talk about how we feel like our wedding was kind of like the last time we saw like some recognition in what was really
and
occurring.
People learn how to fake it too.
Yeah, she seemed like there, you know, over the years there was kind of some mechanisms that she had come up with, but eventually it became to the point that there's no hiding it or faking it.
You know, it struck Ronald Reagan, President Reagan.
Yeah.
You know, if you talk to Nancy Reagan, let's just say it's worse than anything. You lose your company. You know,
yeah.
You lose the person you love.
Oh, it's been like unbelievably sad to see, and so unlike how I had seen it portrayed in the media in real life, that's honestly one of the things that made me start doing this. Is I had been so uneducated.
Well, there's a lot of people watch the show. The nicest thing people say to me doing this every night is that they'll come up to me and say, "My mother watched it to the end," or my husband watched it to the end. Meaning people are aware of it, but then they lose people. I call it the long goodbye. I lost my mom this way. So talk about where it stands. You have become something of an advocate. So are we getting any closer to find, is it aluminum in the plaque, or do we know anything we didn't know before?
I mean, I was just at this hearing, and there were people who know much more about this than I do testifying, and the overall answer they seem to have to that question is they don't know. It seems like the biggest problem is that they don't have enough money to fund the ideas they have to pursue these avenues of thought. It seems like they're not even quite at the place where they can answer those questions because the money is so inconsistent that they don't know. They're just now, it seems like, getting enough to start moving the direction to start answering those questions, but even still, the frustration I could hear in the voices of the researchers.
Who's doing the work, the NIH?
Yeah, the NIH, it seems like, are on the forefront. I mean,
do you know about cases like a friend of ours got Alzheimer's at 50?
Yeah, I mean, that's like my wife's mother was in her 50, 50.
And he died within a few years. It really went. My mom was 15 years.
Yeah.
I think that's more normal. It takes a while, but
yeah, it's unbelievably painful. And it's not, again, I didn't realize that it was like a fatal disease.
Okay, this show's called Hardball, all right?
Yeah.
We got a problem. Everybody out there knows about it. One problem I saw is your hearing. I didn't see any senators sitting there. I saw Harkin.
Yeah.
And I saw Jerry Moran.
Yeah.
And all the other seats are empty.
Yeah, they left.
And you're sitting there. You're a movie star.
Yeah.
Usually the senators at least show up when the cameras are there.
Yeah, I mean, it was...
Why weren't they there? Did you ask anybody where the hell the guys who supposedly work here are?
I honestly assume I hope they had somewhere better to be.
You think so?
No, honestly, I think it's indicative of the mentality that we find so frustrating, is that it seems to be of a low priority. It seems like these people don't care. That's the direct message they're giving by leaving during our testimony, is that they don't care. Two of them were falling asleep during the first part of the testimony, literally. I mean, I saw it happening. And then they asked questions that had already been answered in the testimonies because they clearly weren't paying attention. I mean, on a very ground floor level, there was some very distressing things I witnessed just being in that room and seeing how two of the people seemed to care and everyone else, I have no idea what they were doing.
What's hilarity for charity?
It's an organization me and my wife started that its goal is to get young people involved in pursuing
Yeah, we
cure
better,
for
because we're
Alzheimer's.
aware of what's going on. Once you get Alzheimer's, it's too late to do much good.
Exactly, and our generation soon will be affected by it. It's not just our grandparents, it's our parents. And again, we looked around and saw absolutely no attempt being made by anyone really to educate young people about what is happening. And so we decided.
You know why
to
it's
do it ourselves.
important? Excuse me, I interrupt.
No, go. I do too. I like it.
You know, I think that the key thing about this is it's not like somebody isn't that bright and yet it becomes a little less bright.
Yeah.
It strikes like thunder.
Yes.
It goes after women. My mom was wanting to run for city council.
Yeah.
It strikes people that are gung-ho intellectually, who read the paper every day, who are thinkers. They play bridge. They do everything to fight it. And it just keeps coming.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And again, what I've been so shocked by watching my mother-in-law is how she literally can't walk or talk or feed herself.
To the point you can't get down a stairway.
Yeah, and she's in a wheelchair now a lot of the time, and there's literally no communication. I mean, a brief moment of eye contact is considered like a
Are there any wonderful
victory.
flashbacks where she does know somebody?
No, there's
nothing comes back. Because my mom was
nothing.
like, once in a while she would come back.
No, and if she could, it does. If she said 2 words in a row, we'd be thrilled. I mean, there's a hello.
Okay, let's get something done here. You're here.
Yes.
We're live. Tell me what people should do who are watching and listening to you, who care about you, in fact. They care about you personally. Now you're telling the story that you care about.
Yeah, I mean, I think people need to, a stink needs to be made. I mean, I think people...
Just write your congressman.
Write your congressman. Make them realize that it is a relevant issue and that people are not going to accept that America has no means of dealing with this disease at all when they pride themselves on being on the forefront of scientific and technological advancement.
202-224-3121. I can always do that one. 202-224-3121. That's the United States Senate. Anyway, Seth Rogen, thank you. Maybe they'll show up for the next hearing.
Yeah, maybe. It'd be nice.
A little bit. Anyway,
I flew all the way
next,
here.
Thanks for coming on. With
Thank you for having me.
Up next, there's a big push across the country to legalize marijuana. It's projected to be $1 billion industry out in Colorado right now. Let's talk about it. You can't stay.
Okay.
Is pot's economic boom worth the dollars that come with it? We're going to find out with all this. Harry Smith's joining us with a brand new documentary about marijuana in America. Who would have known this was coming? And it's here. And this is Hardball, a place for politics.